Nick, how's it going, man?
Going well, Sam.
Good, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. And I'm excited to dive into things here. So, you just wrapped up month 6 of Alpha Body System, right? And you created incredible results for yourself, an incredible transformation, and you committed to the process so well and showed up consistently for yourself day in, day out. I'm curious, for the people watching here, where were you at before Alpha Body System? What was life like? What was your relationship with fitness like before you joined Alpha Body System?
Yeah, absolutely. I can only speak for myself, but where I was, I'm like about 10 years into my career, and when you're kind of like in your mid to late 30s, some of those habits you had when you're younger kind of slip away from you. Prioritizing being active, things like that. And I would joke with some of my friends as we sit most of the time, we're so sedentary, like we're just trying to avoid the sitting death.
Yeah.
So I would still try to exercise in the mornings, but sometimes I'm like, hey, maybe I might skip a meal here or there. But I just started to find it that I just did not have the energy like I used to. And then I think really for me, from where I started to after the 6 months, is like I de-learned some of those bad habits over the years I've picked up. Um, and working with you and Greg, kind of learning proper nutrition, like eating nutrient dense foods in the mornings. I think one of the biggest takeaways was for somebody of my height, I'm 6'2", I didn't realize how much protein I was not intaking each day and how much getting the right amount of protein impacted my overall mood and energy and also kept me satiated. Um, and I learned that sometimes when it came to breakfast foods, didn't have to be like a traditional breakfast food. Also having snacks that were nutrient dense throughout the day, properly fueling before a workout, and then properly refueling after, um, really cut down on recovery time to the point where I was getting these optimized workouts. And I remember I told you like my ideal time is during my lunch break. So it's like, how can I get a really good workout in 60 minutes? And I was able to achieve that to the point where, I looked forward to it. And so my coworkers would joke like, hey, you don't want to go to Five Guys with us at lunch? And I was like, actually, I'll go to the gym that's in the same plaza. So I'll see you guys later.
I love that. That's incredible. Good. And that's huge for a lot of guys, right? Because a lot of guys live with this false belief that like they need to be in the gym for an hour and a half to 2 hours, like 5, 6 days a week in order to make
Right.
progress. But that's actually not the case at all. Like when you have a game plan that's tailored to you and efficiency is a priority, I mean, you can be in and out in 50 minutes 3 times a week and make significant progress so long as you're consistent with that. So, that speaks to your experience there too.
hmm Another thing I would say was crucial was understanding the level of effort, the RPEs,
Mm.
um, in when I have a workout that's programmed for an RPE of 7 versus a 10. And before, when I would exercise on my own, I wasn't building like almost like the momentum within my sets to build up to that working set properly. So I was actually not hitting my full potential. I was kind of maxing out before I was there. So that was something that I found pretty invaluable in teaching me not just like the proper technique, but also building up to that working set so I can have that optimized workout.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Nick. You've been in the program for 6 months. You've done an excellent job of integrating all the education from a nutrition standpoint, a recovery standpoint, an exercise standpoint. What results have you actually created for yourself so far?
Yeah, so for me, one of the first things was actually developing measurable goals. I had some simple ones, and then understanding what were my steps that I needed to actually make the progress. That I worked with you all to help me identify those steps. But for me, it was about creating strength while achieving weight loss to kind of shift my overall proportions. I started to see my proportions getting kind of out of whack, and I was like, oh gosh, I need to do something here. If I don't stop it now, then maybe be too late. And working with you all, you said, it's never too late. You start today, and let's figure out how we get there. So that's kind of how it ended up for me.
Awesome. So you lost a significant amount of body fat, right? Your
hmm
strength went through the roof. I remember you commenting on like your clothes fitting you differently, you being able to fit into clothes that you weren't fitting into before. For you, what do you think the biggest piece of that was relative to where you were before Alpha Body System? Like, was it the guidance? Was it the community? Was it having that clear, detailed game plan that allowed you to achieve that? Or was it, a culmination of all of it?
I would say all of those are kind of fundamental pillars to support the overall life change, because that's really what it's about, is making a life change. And for some people like myself, I tried other I wouldn't say like a fad diet or something, but like a fad workout program. Like I remember I got super obsessed with kettlebells, and then I got super obsessed with like I'm going to eat these certain types of foods throughout the day, and you'd get obviously results because you're making a change, but it's not sustainable, right? So I think with Alpha Body Systems, you taught and you teach us like how to make that change sustainable by integrating it into your life. Like I don't ever think back and go, "Oh, I miss my Dunkin' Donuts bagel." I'll drive past it going, "Actually, I'm not even thinking about it anymore because I have I'm obsessed with my Greek yogurt with protein in it. Like that's what I prefer to have. So I've just kind of over the 6 months, it took a while. Like there was some excitement at first, and then around month three, you're like, okay, maybe I missed that bagel, but then I'm like, you know what? Actually, I don't. And by month 4 or 5, like I'm into it. And after these 6 months, like I don't think I could turn back because I've now experienced what it's like on the other side where it's better.
Totally,
So
totally. Amazing. Well, Nick, when you talk about the physical change, right? Getting like losing the 10 plus pounds, building muscle,
mhm,
having way more muscle definition, getting, as you said, your proportions back in check that you were looking for, improving your energy. What impact did that have on you, your personal life, whether it was relationships, your performance at work? Like I know you're a father, you've got your young son at home.
mhm.
Like how did those changes impact the other areas of life for you?
Yeah, I mean, number one, energy, right? Having a small kid, like you want to be able to keep up, and then also like have the energy for when the kid's down to clean up, spend time with your significant other, to also be able to come into work fully refreshed.
Mm,
Um, I would say really energy was like the number one thing. As far as when it came to, losing that 10 pounds, like when you start off, it sounds like, oh, that's only a little bit, right? You'd think like, man, I should be losing so much more. But to truly lose it to where, like I said earlier, like and it's sustainable, that takes time, right? Because you can make a quick dietary change or something, and then you could drop some weight. That might be water weight, that might be something else, or you just cut out, drinking beer every night. Um, but the 10 pounds plus like the increase in muscle, like
hmm.
it like I'm proud of the hard work it took because I kind of stand by that accomplishment, right? When you see that little bit of extra definition in the shoulder, the tricep pops a little bit and you're not trying to, or for me, one of mine I joked about was becoming more vascular, right? Because that's a good sign of your health, right? Is your veins. So, yeah, it's important for me.
For sure. And I think what's important for you to like, and I know you know this, but for anyone else who's listening, you know, not everyone needs to lose 30 pounds. Like, sure, we have plenty of clients that have lost 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. But for a guy like you, like you don't have that much weight to lose. So at some
Hmm.
point, losing a total scale weight of 10 pounds, but the real picture behind that is like you probably lost 15 pounds of fat and added 5 pounds of muscle, or
Right.
lost 17 pounds of fat and added 7 pounds of muscle. So that's why your body composition has changed so drastically, even though the number on the scale isn't a ginormous number, a bit above 10 pounds. Like that's really important to know because a lot of guys who don't have a data-driven process to follow, all they're doing is they're chasing a number on the scale, right? But the goal isn't to lose scale weight, it's to lose body fat, right? And as you know now, like building muscle is such an important part of the sustainability aspect, right? It's like you're increasing your engine size, or you're doing a full rehaul of the engine on your car, which allows you to burn more fuel on a daily basis, thus making it easier for you to actually stay lean for the long term.
Hmm.
So like that's so important, and I'm glad that that has really clicked for you throughout this process.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. I would say the engine. I think you explained that to me early on with that analogy is, hey, we're going to help you fine tune and build your engine so that it can run and perform. And then you'll be
Hmm.
able to burn more. And you'll be burning more at rest because your body's just performing at a higher level. Right. And I think some people get a little intimidated thinking, well, I'm not in my early 20s anymore, or I'm no longer playing the sports I did in high school. It's never too late to tune it up. Right. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's never too late. Amazing. Well, Nick, you've been in the process for 6 months now. You've absolutely crushed it. You've seen how everything works. I'm curious for you, if anyone is watching this video, maybe they have already gotten on a call with us, or maybe they've checked out our page and now they're wondering if Alpha Body System is the right thing for them, if Alpha Body System is going to truly deliver them the results they're looking for. What words of advice would you have for them?
Yeah, so I would say if you're somebody who's looking at Alpha Body System videos, if you're on Sam's page, if you've had a call, you know that you need to make a change, right? You've at least taken that first step. Like something's got to change. And you've landed in the right spot. Uh, if you're concerned about the financial aspect of it, if you want something that's going to give you results, you have to truly invest in yourself. And that was something for me. I had never really done that. I've taken on some of those smaller cost programs where you just pay for the program, but there was no guidance. There's no training aspect. I found the value that I can message you and Greg at any time of the day, and I'll get a response relatively quickly. Um, I get detailed critiques on my form, edits and changes as needed to my nutrition. That level of like that one-on-one responsiveness where it almost feels like it's like I have you guys on speed dial. I found that to be invaluable. And I think I'd said early on, like I was facing myself at work going, I'm gonna have to buy a whole new wardrobe of clothes to fit into my body now. And then I said, well, if I make a change, the amount of money I'm gonna save and not having to buy two new suits, new clothes for not just work but at home and personal. When I factored that in, I was like, oh, actually, this is the better deal because I'm gonna be saving in the long run, in addition to just making my life overall better. So I
Definitely.
would say if anybody has any like doubts or concerns, anything that really is worth something is it takes hard work and you have to invest in yourself.
Yes, sir. Couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's also important to assess like the true ROI, right? Like the true ROI of fitness. Like you have your immediate ROI of like not having to buy a shit ton of new clothes that you've outgrown.
Hmm.
The ROI of, how do we quantify medical bills in the future of like not actually taking
Yep.
care of our health? And then ROI of energy and just like, how do we put a price on the quality of life when you wake up, you love what you see in the mirror, you walk into work, you're feeling confident. Like that just has such an exponential effect on your performance everywhere where it's like, you know, your health and your fitness is one of absolutely the best assets that you can actually invest into.
Yeah. And I would just add one more thing is it was unlearning bad habits that I didn't recognize that I had,
Mm,
especially in the kitchen and in the gym. I think I touched on it early on about the amount of protein and not understanding the value of protein and what it does for the body, making nutrient dense and satiating foods, and also how to like be able to, if you travel for work or you like to be social with friends, like how do you still maintain those interactions when you're not at home in your own kitchen and you're still able to enjoy life? Those were things that I just thought were impossible thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be locked into something now, and I'm never going to be able to do anything else. Like, there's room for deviations at points, but I go back to my North Star, which I've learned through ABS, in how to better take care of myself.
incredible. Well, Nick, you should feel very proud of the results that you've created for yourself. And also, you're going to keep going, right? Like you're going to keep getting 1% better every day. All the education that you've gained, this is going to set you up for a lifetime of success and health. And again, man, great work. You've absolutely crushed it. And I'm excited to see you continue progressing into the future here.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for taking the time here, Nick. We'll talk soon. All right.
All right, thanks, Sam.